Hey everybody, welcome back to the Smarketing CONNECT podcast. I'm your host, Tom Libby, co-founder of Smarketing CONNECT, and today I have with me one of our Smarketing CONNECT professionals, Gail Moraski. So Gail, as I normally do, I don't do a lot of introductions for people. I allow them to do that themselves. So in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay, thank you, Tom, for having me on. And I love to refer to myself as a data geek. I'm very passionate about slicing and dicing data. I love kind of pulling back the onion and seeing what the data reveals. So I am currently the owner of a small digital marketing agency on the South Shore. My background is in both marketing and communications and market research, so it's kind of a unique combination, and I think having that background really allows me to kind of look at both sides of the equation, both the communications and marketing side and the research and analysis side. And the tagline for my business is maximizing results through research-supported marketing. And I always say to my clients, I'll never encourage them to begin or continue with a marketing activity that doesn't make sense for them based on research. So again, I'm all about slicing and dicing data and really making sure that whatever marketing activities we put in place really make sense and are generating what I call conversion, so sales or some other desired activity.
And the name of the company again is Results
Communications and Research.
Excellent, excellent. So in that case, Gail, so tell me what types of companies do you work with? Either size, vertical. How do you decide who you work with?
You know, I will work with any organization. I have, in the past 6 years since I rolled out my business, I've been really fortunate to have a really, really diverse client mix, which I really like because I love learning new industries and new things in general. So I've been really fortunate that I've worked with small businesses, I've worked with mid-sized businesses, local, national, international, for-profit, nonprofit, business to business, business to consumer. So it's been a really good mix. My corporate marketing background is in healthcare and financial services, and so I do enjoy, returning to my roots a little bit, and I'm trying to do a little bit more on the healthcare marketing side. And also, I had mentioned earlier, I have a background in market research, so I'm trying to, do a little bit more work for clients on the market research side of things. But I really don't have a preference. I mean, I try to offer reasonable rates so that I can really help nonprofits, small businesses, and then any size business, have an opportunity to compete with, larger organizations and be successul.
Oh, that's a great answer. So there's no one particular niche that you are really a specialty at. You're very broad spectrum.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of pros to that because when I work with a client, I'm bringing all these ideas from, all different types of organizations that may work well for that particular organization that's a new client or an existing client. Because I find sometimes when you only work in one vertical, you can get kind of set in your ways or kind of adhere to like the standard practices that a lot of competitors do, or just marketing activities that are used in that vertical. So I think there's a lot of benefit to just being exposed to all shapes and sizes of businesses and then be able to apply that to client needs.
Perfect. So Gail, and that said, so what types of small business tools do you advise your clients that are they have to be using, and give us an idea of why that is?
Okay, so my favorite tool as a small business owner is a tool, it's an appointment setting or scheduling tool called Calendly, and it's at calendly.com. And I started using it a couple of years ago, probably because other people that had reached out to me had links to it on their email. And I just love it because instead of going back and forth with somebody about 10 times about what day they can meet on and what hour and all that, I can just share the link with them and they can just schedule a time that's convenient for them to meet with me that's also open on my calendar. And what I like about it is I can put the link in my email signature. So anybody that reaches out to me and I reply back to sometimes sees that and they'll just hop on and say, oh, I'm going to set up a time to meet with her. I can share it with people via LinkedIn. And of course it's on my website, and it just makes it so much more convenient. And I think, you know, for small shops where you don't necessarily have a secretary or anybody like that to help you with scheduling, I just think it makes you look so much more professional if you can just provide that link and make it really easy for someone to set up a time with you.
So I have a very quick follow-up to that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see an increase in actual scheduled meetings from that calendar link, or did it just save time in the back and forth?
I think I saw a little bit of increase, because there's been times when things have come into my inbox that, you know, it's something, I'll get a notification from Calendly showing that someone set up a meeting with me, and it might not even be anybody I've had a discussion with. They just snagged the link from my website, or yeah, I guess that's probably where they would get it from. But yeah, I think there's been an increase.
Good. So aside from saying the obvious, like marketing or something like that, what types of like real world challenges do small business owners typically ask you to come in and help them solve?
So the number one challenge is that my website is not showing up in Google. I'm not ranking well in Google. I built this beautiful website. I spent all this time on it. I paid somebody a boatload of money to build it for me, or I built it myself using like what I call like a drag and drop tool like Wix or Weebly. I built this beautiful website and no one's finding me. I'm not getting calls. I don't see a lot of traffic coming into my website. If I do a search in Google, I'm not seeing a listing with a link to my website showing up. And that's one of the things I help customers with the most.
Awesome.
It's one of my specialties. I love it. It's called search engine optimization, or SEO. Yeah, I think it's a huge problem, because sometimes small business owners don't know what they don't know. And so many of them don't know that they can't just put a beautiful website out there, that there are tactics, what we call technical SEO tactics, that you have to implement in order for your website to be found. And, you know, I think, you know, some of those are things like putting what they call meta tags on your site that, you know, Google's little spiders can crawl and index, and therefore you'll be found for information that's included in those tags. But it's also about making sure that your website is authentic and contains like content, and in the content what they call keywords or search terms that are relevant to the products and services you offer, and also you know, the problems that you solve. So somebody might not be searching on your product or service. They might be searching for a solution to a problem they have. And so it's really important that small business owners, you know, make note of that in their website content, so they'll be found for that.
Perfect. So we often talk about, we get asked a lot, being sales consultants, we get asked a lot about marketing partners. And so we get this question a lot. So I figured I'd ask people in your world if you get the same question about sales and or other marketing expertise that maybe not yours. How do you advise a small business client to go look, or what do you advise them to do when they're looking for another agency or another person to help them in a consulting role? What kind of advice do you give them when they're looking for that?
Well, there's a few things. First of all, I think you definitely want to work with someone that is able to look at kind of what you're doing currently or have done in the past, and analyze kind of the data and give you a sense of what is working for you, what isn't, or what hasn't worked for you. If someone is not able to kind of help you kind of figure out what you did in the past to inform the future, you know, that's not a good sign. You want somebody that's going to be able to help you figure out what's working and not working. And you also want somebody that, you know, when they when they talk to you about work they're going to do for you, you want to make sure that they have plans in place to track the results of whatever they're doing for you, and that they have plans in place to, you know, provide detailed analyses, performance reports, and that they really know how they're going to be able to let you know how whatever activity they implement for you is working. So that's a key piece. I also think you need to ask things, you need to keep your eyes open for things that sound like too good to be true. So for example, on the SEO side of things, there's some SEO experts that will claim, you know, they'll send you an email. A lot of times the outreach is through email, and they'll guarantee that you'll be on the first page of Google search results. Well, it's almost impossible to rank on the first page of Google search results for certain companies, particularly if they're in a very competitive environment and they're not like a household name. So I think if someone approaches you with a guarantee like that, that's, you know, something that, you know, you need to be concerned about, because no one's really able to, you know, offer that guarantee. And also my last thing I wanted to say is, if you also want to make sure that someone isn't coming to you and just trying to sell you one particular service that they specialize in. You definitely want to have options, because you don't want somebody to force a particular service on you that is not appropriate for your particular business.
Got it. And very, very well advised. So, okay. So this one, I kind of like, it's just to go away for us to have a little bit of fun and kind of show people that we're a little human, and we can goof around a little bit, and we're not so serious that, you know, we take ourselves too seriously. But, so I love asking this question, but so Gail, if you could be a superhero, who would you be, and tell us why?
I decided my superhero power would be the ability to either wink or blink and go from Braintree, where my office is here on the South Shore, into Boston. So if I could just wink or blink and be in Boston, then I would be able to avoid the trains right now, because I'm still feeling a little iffy about riding the train. And also, they're not running on a regular schedule, but I am really, really missing my North End cookies. Like, I need some of those Italian cookies from Bova's on Salem Street in the North End. So, and I love walking the Greenway too. I love walking down Atlantic Avenue on the Greenway. So I love getting off at South Station and walking all the way down to the North End. So that would be my superhero, is just that blink or wink capability, like the woman on Bewitched, I guess, and I Dream of Jeannie.
I love it. I love it. So it doesn't matter if there's a superhero that has that power. You're just you're just taking the power, the superpower itself.
Yeah, it's a superpower. I don't know if anybody has it, but
I'm sure there is, but I don't know any. I don't know enough about the superhero world to know that, but I'm pretty sure there would be. All right. So so this part of the podcast, it gives you an opportunity to talk about somebody else in your world that you like, appreciate, respect, and you'd like to give them a little bit of kudos, and maybe we can invite them on to be on the podcast. So is there somebody out there that you'd be thinking of that you'd say would be worth your time to mention here?
Yes, I would love to mention Sarah Welch Tamayo. Sarah is the owner of Vibrancy Communications here in Braintree as well. She and I have collaborated on quite a few things already, and I hope we'll continue to collaborate. But I like to refer to Sarah as the content queen, because she is an expert in writing creative content and kind of figuring out how to create like an umbrella or theme under which, you know, content for a particular campaign or a website can reside. She's extremely detailed and organized, and like I said, she's very creative, a very strong writer, great at writing contents for websites and other marketing activities. And I know she also just completed like a HubSpot program in content marketing. And she's just a great, fun person, and somebody that has a lot of, you know, really great energy. So I think she's someone that everybody would like to get to know.
Perfect. So Sarah, if you're watching this, we'll try to reach out to you and see what you say about coming on for us. Okay, so this is the part where this is all Gail's contact information, her LinkedIn profile, her website, her email address, and everything on here, Gail, we can find public facing. I think most of it is actually on your website, which is where I believe I pulled it from. But aside from what's on here, if somebody is trying to reach out to you or thinking about you, where else can they find you besides what's on the screen here?
Okay, so I'm also on some other forms of social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I have a Google My Business profile, and then I'm a member of right now of the Mass Nonprofit Network. So you can find me my listing on there if you're a member of that organization. And I recently joined NESHCO, which is I think it's New England Society of Healthcare Communicators. So there's a listing on there for me as well.
Too many acronyms.
Yep.
And if you remember nothing else, Gail is also one of our experts on Smarketing CONNECT. So don't forget, you can find her in a bunch of different places. Seems to me, Gail, that you are everywhere everybody wants to be. So you're like that American Express card. But I want to thank you. This is basically us wrapping up. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast, Gail. Thank you very much for being our guest, and everybody stay well.
Thank you so much for having me. And I just want to say I'm really enjoying being a member of Smarketing CONNECT because I've already met so many really wonderful fellow marketers, and then we're serving as referral sources for each other and collaborating on stuff. So, you know.
Awesome.
It's been a really great opportunity.
That was a great shout out there, Gail. Thank you very much. All right, but thanks everybody.
You're welcome.
Bye.